Innama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swam Te Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nivasisha Sunyavari Pashtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hari Hari. Yes, so we was just describing how we left off last week in reading a wonderful detailed description of Goloka Vrindavan, and specifically we're hearing about Krishna in his exchange of love with his gopas and the other residents of Vrindavan, taking prashadam and then being adorned with garlands, etc. And there was a beautiful description of all the different types of flowers which were there, which all the garlands are made from, and also, yeah, the names of the flowers that Krishna is decorated with. A very beautiful description. So we are continuing that, and we're continuing with text as you see it highlighted there, 68 and 69. Just check if anyone's trying to get in. Anyone's banging on the door? No, Hare Krishna. That's good. Okay, someone like to take us into 68 and 69?
Yes, I can do it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
68, 69. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to turn off something. One second.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Then, in a choice grove, fragrant with sweet-smelling flowers and resonant with humming bees, Krishna rested a while on an excellent bed made of many new soft leaves, sprouts, and flowers. The body of his dear friend Sridham provided a comfortable pillow, and countless friends served Krishna by expertly reciting prayers, singing sweetly, fanning him, dressing his hair, and massaging his lotus feet and hands. Commentary. Krishna's flower bed was so fragrant that many bees were attracted to it. Krishna pleasantly rested on this very comfortable bed while his friends attended to him. Sri Badarayani has described this scene in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Vyasadeva, yeah.
All right. Sometimes Lord Krishna grew tired from fighting and lay down at the base of a tree, resting upon a bed made of soft twigs and buds, and using the lap of a cowherd friend as his pillow. Some of the cowherd boys, who were all great souls, would then massage his lotus feet, and others, qualified by being free from all sin, would expertly fan him. My dear king, other boys would sing enchanting songs appropriate to the occasion, and their hearts would melt out of love for the Lord. Text 70. Krishna enjoyed pleasing his friends and in various ways, along with Balaram, indulged in his pastime of relaxing. Though Krishna's friends were very competent in the sport of keeping themselves from laughing, Krishna defeated them by imitating various characters, distorting his face, and cutting hundreds of jokes. Commentary. The boys served Krishna, and he reciprocated by entertaining them. 71. Then, making the animals rise by sounding signals from his flute and buffalo horn, he enjoyed grazing them near Govardhan Hill. 72. And again, all his friends, each according to his own taste, tried to outdo the others in decorating Krishna with an assortment of wonderful items from the forest. Commentary. Some boys applied tilak made from haritala to Krishna's forehead. Others arranged flower garlands in his hair, and still others decorated his head with gunja berries. Text 73. In the evening, Krishna, the giver of joy to all of Raj, left the newcomer Brahmana Janasrama in the hands of Sarupa, and as before, took pleasure in entering the cowherd village. Commentary. Krishna's return to his father's village in the evening has already been described, so that Janasarma would not be confused about what to do back in the village. Krishna asked Sarupa to guide him.
That's right. Oh.
Yeah. O mother, you are fixed in the super excellent intelligence attained only by the mercy of Lord Gopinath. Now, reflecting on all you have heard, you can answer your own questions. Commentary. Having reached the end of his narration, Sri Pariksit now suggests to his mother that he has told her everything she needs to know to answer the questions with which she had approached him. She should not doubt her ability to think of the correct answers, because she is fully graced with Krishna's mercy. At the beginning of Sri Brhad Bhagavatamrta, Sri Uttara asked Parikshit, "My dear son, please extract the essence of what Sukadeva has taught you and quickly reveal it to me, as if churning the nectar of immortality from the ocean of milk." And at the beginning of part 2, Uttara inquired further, whether higher than Vaikuntha there is a realm where the Supreme Lord's most intimate devotees can associate with him freely. A suitable place must surely exist for them beyond Vaikuntha. Please reveal it to me and rescue me.
Okay,
Text.
so this is just taking us back, and this is the end of a section actually. So the next verse is from now on. We're kind of winding down, but then Sanatana Goswami, or it goes again into a description of more pastimes in the closing section, because it's so nectarian that he doesn't finish it abruptly, and he continues churning lots of other pastimes. But in essence, this section here is kind of, in one sense, it's the end of the Brihad Bhagavatamrta, but there's a little bit more nectar to come. Yeah. So this is the whole is based on this question from Uttara. My dear son, please extract the essence of what Sukadeva Goswami has taught you and quickly reveal it to me, as if churning the nectar of immortality in the ocean of milk. So this is the essence. So the essence is obviously in relationship to Krishna. In the 10th canto, Sukadeva Goswami spoke about Krishna's pastimes. So that's what's being presented here, but perhaps with more detail, with more, little bit more, with more elaboration and more detail. Names are given here, like Radharani's name is given, like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not given. Yeah, it is not given there, and we know the reasons why Sukadeva Goswami didn't utter the word Radha directly. But here, in this here, now we're hearing, is it Maharaj Parikshit is explaining this to his mother Uttara, and he's including all wonderful details. Yeah. And then this second question as well. Uttara is asking, is there somewhere higher than Vaikuntha where the Lord's intimate devotees can associate with him freely and in a very intimate way? And that's what has been described. Okay. A suitable place must surely exist, and it sure does. And that's what we're hearing about. Okay. So we all ready for more? Yes. Everyone's roaring. Yes, yes, yes. More, more, more. Aniyo, Aniyo. Okay. Anyone like to pick up the reading from 75?
I can read if nobody's saying.
Go ahead. I was just about to jump in. Go on. You go ahead.
75.
Yes.
By your own endeavor, dear mother, please try to reach Sri Goloka, the deep ocean where the flood of all transcendental bliss finds its ultimate limit. Just by going there, you will eternally relish all sorts of most sweet, loving exchanges with that same Supreme Lord. Commentary.
Right.
Out of love for his mother, Parikshit is eager to help her find the answer to her questions. This he does in 4 verses, text 75 through 78, by reminding her of the ultimate perfection she can achieve. He advises her to try by all means to achieve Goloka, Krishna's abode. Goloka can be reached only by the special mercy of the personality of Godhead. Still, devotees are recommended to make their own effort to achieve that goal with enthusiasm and confidence in their regulative practices. For the devotees who become indifferent to everything will fail to attract the Supreme Lord's favor.
Okay, so for those who were here yesterday's reading for finishing our holy name, our roadmap to love, this is what we were speaking about yesterday. To be enthusiastic and to have confidence, and more is brought out here is not to become indifferent, thinking it's impossible, it's not for me, I will never make it. Yeah, we're being encouraged here to be enthusiastic, to be confident, and that will attract the Lord's special mercy. Yeah, and there's something else I was going to bring out as well. I forgot. Yeah, just it's also good to remember that this conversation is taking place between a mother and son. And it's mentioned out of love for his mother. And this is just before her son's going to be killed by a poisonous snake. So this is their conversation they're having. You know, they're speaking about Krishna. They're speaking about Krishna's pastimes, and soon he will be bit by a venomous poison of a snake, a mystical snake. But they're just speaking Krishna Katha. She's asking questions about Krishna, and he is answering, giving the essence of what Sukadeva Goswami explained. Yeah, it's interesting because the accounts we're seeing here, or we're hearing here, is not what we haven't read these details in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But Maharaj Parikshit is giving these details. So it seems to indicate that as a devotee of Krishna, he is aware of even more than what Sukadeva Goswami explained in the 10th canto. I'm speculating here. Anyway, so yeah, Hare Krishna. Can continue, Mother. 76.
76. It's not that just anyone at any time can achieve those perfections at once, just by traveling to the district of Mathura on earth. Rather, only a rare person achieves them when he has obtained full mercy from the Lord's dear devotees. O Mother, please therefore gather dust from the feet of devotees who have exclusive love for the lotus feet of the Lord. Commentary. Mother Uttara might propose that according to what she has heard from Parikshit, she could achieve perfection simply by traveling to the nearby Rajbhumi of the Mathura district, which is not different from Goloka in the spiritual sky. But Parikshit answers that to realize the boundless variety of loving exchanges with Sri Golokanath is not so easy. Only during the short time of Krishna's avatar, when he makes himself visible on earth at the end of but one Dwarpa Yuga in each day of Brahma, can anyone who simply visits Raj become perfect. At that time, Krishna descends to earth to bestow causeless good fortune to all the jivas. At other times, one can achieve the full realization of Krishna consciousness only by receiving a flood of mercy from the dear devotee of Sri Gopinath. This indeed was how the Brahmana Jana Sharma became fortunate by the mercy of Sarup. Parikshit therefore begs his mother that rather than associate with persons interested in liberation or anything else, she search out the dust from the feet of Vaishnavas who want only love for Krishna. With great care, she should collect that dust and place it on her head. Then her visit to Rajbhumi will result in complete perfection.
Okay, so the blessings of the Vaishnavas. Yeah. So just a note here that Sarupa is the Siddha form of Gopakumar.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to keep that in mind. Yeah.
And this other one is his disciple?
Yeah, that's it. And he was known as the Brahmana
Yeah.
from Mathura, and then he achieved perfection, ecstatic love, by being embraced by Surupa. Everything he had heard, then he realized all the emotions of Raj by that merciful touch of Surupa, was Gopakumar. Yeah. So, yeah, so before we go to Vrindavan of Raj with high expectations, we need to get the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Yeah, we should ask their permission. Just like we have a favorite devotee, oh, so favorite, I forgot her name. Deepika.
Yeah, Deepika.
Yeah, like before she goes anywhere, wherever it is to visit family or friends or whatever in India, she always comes and asks my permission. Don't know why. She comes, oh, please, can I go? Please, is it okay if I go? Very sweet exchange, you know? So she's you know, that's the culture, you know? She's asking permission. Who am I to? Said, okay, thank you. Now I can go, she says. Yeah. So similar, in similar way, you know, nice to get the blessings of the devotees before we may go to Vrindavan. Yeah. All right. Any questions or comments, please feel free to add on. If not, we can read on and on and on and on and on. Keep on reading.
Text 77. That place, Goloka, bestows eternal loving contact with Krishna's beautiful lotus feet, which are thickly smeared with the kumkum from the slopes of the gopis' breasts. Dear mother, I have thus replied according to the spirit of your affectionate and deeply thoughtful questions, and all your doubts should now have been destroyed. Commentary. Now that Parikshit had told his mother what she ought to do, he wants to remind her that Goloka is the final goal and that meditation on Goloka will greatly foster her progress. Uttara's original request was, please deliver me. And in this verse, Parikshit responds directly, considering Uttara's plea altogether praiseworthy. He has gradually satisfied her simply by hearing in detail the glories of Goloka. All doubts are vanquished. Text 79.
78, isn't it?
78, yes. This world Goloka, shining even above Vaikuntha, can be achieved only by firm, boundless love for the blessed feet of the lovers of the gopis. In that land, one reaps the most valuable rewards, far beyond one's desires. When one meditates on the residents of that world, they grant the highest fortune of firm standing in prema. Commentary. The only effective sadhana for reaching the highest world Goloka is the special kind of love that holds fast to the lotus feet of Sri Gopinath. And since that love reposes in the residence of Golokam, remembering the exalted Vaishnavas of Goloka is the key to all success.
Okay, so that's the sadhana. So that'd be a Raganuga sadhana. Okay, that would be Vaidhi sadhana. That would be Raganuga sadhana. Okay.
So basically, it's mercy of Vaishnavas that you can go to places like that and then meditate.
That's the all pervading in our philosophy, isn't it? The mercy of Vaishnavas. Everything is dependent on the mercy of Vaishnavas, specifically the Guru who's given you the holy name and who's teaching you and is teaching these principles of bhakti. Yeah. Getting blessings. Yeah. it is all about blessings all the way up. Even in Goloka, there's blessings to have the direct service of the divine couple. There's blessings and permissions are given based on one's attitude of love, actually. It's not based on one's skills. There in Vrindavan, the skills of the arts manifest from love. But it's all based on blessings before one goes forward to do any service. And my Guru Maharaj was reading through, I don't know what he was reading from, but he was reading from a book of whether he was reading from a section where he describes how one when they achieve perfection in their sadhana, then when they reach the siddha in their sadhana and they go back to, I think it's Boma Vrindavan. I don't he didn't make a distinction. Then one first gets to associate, if one's in a mood of conjugal love, then one will first get to associate with the manjaris. Yeah. Then he described beautifully Radhakund, and there's all different what they call it, all different around Radhakund, there's all these different kunjas. And Lalita, she's kind of directs the manjaris. So then the manjaris bring one to Lalita. And then Lalita will then give guidance to the manjaris of how that particular soul, perhaps they need more training in the arts of love before they may get to directly serve the divine couple. But a point he makes out there, he makes out that when they're looking at this jiva who's achieved perfection, then Lalita can see everything. She can see right into their soul and to see everything. And then one of the manjaris also, they're all knowing about this person who's now coming to their association. And one nice point he mentioned is that they mentioned to Lalita that when there was a sadhaka, they would do pujari service. They would dress the deity forms. So Lalita is, oh, that's interesting. So like when you was a sadhaka, you would make garlands. So that means when you're so the services we're doing here, it gets known at the stage of perfection. You was cooking, you was making nice preparations in Soho Street Temple. He was making garlands for Radha Landaneshwar, or like that. So he mentions that. I thought I'd give it an interesting bit of detail there. So all the material things we've done is forgotten, but all the activities that we're doing as sadhakas, as practitioners, it's all going for eternal benefit. That's why I'm thinking that I'm quite embarrassed because I've been in Pujari for so many years, but I don't know how to make garlands. I don't know how that's happened. So I think I'm going to have to learn how to make garlands. It might do me well. I might get
in
give
somewhere.
me an extra ticket to do some service in some distant lifetime and make garlands. Okay, anyway, so
I'm still on to getting mercy from Vaishnavis,
yeah.
Especially like say for men, it's easier to get around these devotees, senior devotees coming and all that, serving them one way or the other, or going close to ask questions. For ladies, it's quite difficult. I even see that in like Soho Studio 108 and that, like girls are kind of behind. And then as you get older, then it's even more difficult because you can't really serve so much, and you're kind of taking service and you do your service and you're kind of at home, that's it. So how do you get that mercy from devotees, Vaishnavas?
Well, to begin with, it's definitely not restricted. At least what I have seen, it's definitely not restricted to, it's not predominantly restricted to those in a male body. You know, there's many disciples of Srila Prabhupada, ladies who got great mercy and got great blessings from Prabhupada, and obviously they perhaps wasn't associating for obvious reasons as closely as Tamal Krishna Maharaj and others as well.
Mm.
So that's one thing to consider. It, one is not restricted in that way, but also there's also something transcendental as well. There's also something
That's what I wanted to know, yeah.
mystical and transcendental. For example, just by following, so in other words, by following the orders of the spiritual master with a great sincerity, then you're actually on the transcendental platform, you are actually associating with the guru. And that association is actually seen as more significant than just personal association. You're associating with the guru's instructions and you're following the guru's instructions. So from that, by the arrangement of Krishna's divine potency, then by doing that, one's going to get the blessings of the parampara and specifically one's guru. Again, it is not material, as we know. We're practicing spiritual life, so there's different dimensions of communication, different dimensions of blessings that come. Of course, blessings where the hand may, the guru may put your hand on the head or may see one. That's all very valuable. But practically speaking, say, for example, Indradyumna Maharaj mentioned the other day he has 6,000 disciples. So let alone Jayapataka Maharaj, he has 60,000 disciples, and Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So are those devotees who may not be the personal servants or the secretaries, are they devoid of the opportunity to obtain mercy? No, they're not. If they're following the orders of the Guru and they're sincerely serving. Prabhupada would also, I think it's also described that, practically speaking, a lot of those who are personally serving Prabhupada, there isn't many of devotees who carried on spiritual life after he departed. So it doesn't always necessarily mean just because you have the physical, you're in close proximity to the Guru, he's Vapu form, that also doesn't guarantee if one is not following, it's not following the Guru's instructions, then that's also we should all consider that as well. Yeah, it's almost mystical. Even so, say if someone does the Guru does get, one is associating with the Guru. It doesn't take much for the Guru to understand, especially, I guess it also would depend on the spiritual strength of the Guru and to what degree he may be empowered by the internal energy. That's another subject as well. But the Guru has the potency to be able to understand the psyche of the disciple just by glancing at them. That's also there as well. And also, this point of Vapu is becoming more prominent and it's becoming more, no, Vani, excuse me, following the Vani is becoming more apparent and more of something to consider in our generation as various spiritual masters are leaving the world. So does it mean all those disciples are divested of the opportunity to actually get mercy? No, not. Yeah. The actual one can feel the presence of the Guru by following his orders, by following his direction, or by engaging in service. Sometimes it might come very in a very significant way, where you actually feel his personal presence. So yeah, so basically we are not it is not material at all. It's completely spiritual. So there's different rules. So the spiritual energy moves in multiple dimensions beyond ordinary material time and space. Any questions on this, or it's making sense? Or
Yeah, no, because I also realized that by reading books, Srila Prabhupada's books, and this, you are associating with Srila
yeah,
Prabhupada.
sure, yeah,
Yeah, so you are, I just wanted to clear.
yeah,
Because you're doing things and you just, okay, you want 100%, you want 100%, so you
yeah,
just...
yeah. But also, we always, it's always nice to when the opportunity to be with or to hear from the Vapu, to get a personal association. That's also, we shouldn't neglect that and think, oh, I don't need that. I just need Vani.
Yeah, I just had a thought, like Prabhupada disciples, they lost their Guru Maharaj's form on this planet like very early in their devotional life.
Very
So they had to, for the last 50 years, they have nothing but the Vani.
yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah. So you can speak to them, and they'd be so ecstatic in telling you how Prabhupada's still present for them. All Prabhupada disciples who are sincerely following, they very much appreciate Prabhupada's presence. Of course, at the same time, the Chincha Beta Beta Tattva, they feel a sense of separation from that Vapu, but they feel very much connected with Prabhupada. Sometimes Prabhupada may come in their dreams. A lot of Prabhupada disciples have dreams about Prabhupada. Like that, yeah.
Indrajumna Swami was in my dream. I never dream about Swamis or anything. I never have dreams.
Right.
But where I live, in the flat place where I live, there was, I could hear some kirtan going on in some flat over there, which I don't know who lives there. They're probably not devotees, but I was dreaming about this. Their windows were all open. There was kirtan blasting out. And then Indrajumna Swami was standing near my flat playing the harmonium. I was like, oh my God, what's that?
Yeah, great. A special grace, Indra Maharaj appeared in your dream. Yeah, so for example, sometimes the guru may be more detailed than that. Sometimes the gurus may give instruction. Like Bhaktisiddhanta gave Prabhupada instruction, wasn't it? To to
Yes.
to take sannyas to come with me. There's one lecture where Prabhupada very sweetly he says, I was horrified. Yes, I was horrified. So it wasn't on his plan at that point. He had children. I think Prabhupada had 5 children. 5 children, a wife and a job and a business. And I was horrified. But Bhaktisiddhanta came 2 or 3 times trying to encourage him. Yeah. So also, I think we've already heard something about Bhakti True Swami. Was it someone else was saying that at the time we're leaving this world, then the Guru will manifest, he can be there. This also can happen as well on the transcendental platform. The Guru is there to take you by the hand and take you to your next destination. Very exciting. Again, it's not the material world in comparison to the spiritual world and its dimensions is very flat, very basic, very kind of blunt, flat, basic. The spiritual dimension is completely, it is not bound to these laws of this material world. Krishna can communicate, we can communicate with the Guru can give us blessings far beyond just the physical, being there physically.
Yeah, I remember when I was going to, that COVID time, and I was told not much time, and I remember Bakshi Maharaj ringing, So
Okay, yeah.
and then he's giving me instructions, and then my head's like not with the right space anyway. But
Yeah, that was a bit of a test for you. Yeah.
good
Yeah,
test.
the guru, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
interesting. I didn't know that detail. So like you was given a certain amount of time to live?
well, Nishikant said to me the day, Mom, you don't have much time.
Go blimey.
Then because he's a doctor, so
All right. So he gave you the absolute truth.
yeah, he just told me the truth, and I'd like I didn't really care anyway. I didn't even not think anything. Then he managed to arrange for Maharaj to ring me.
Yeah.
So that was really talking to Maharaj before I doze off to
Yeah.
the La La Land and wherever, I don't know.
So,
So that was,
yeah, so main point here is that
Guru will, yes.
yeah, so that we will never be bereft of what we need to actually advance in Krishna consciousness. You'll never be bereft from Krishna will make arrangements.
Mm.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Good and very good, important topic.
Mm. It always stays in my mind how to, because we have to depend on endeavor. Okay, you try and do endeavor, but the mercy is something like you have to work out how to get it all the time.
Yeah, mercy may come in different ways as well.
Yeah.
As we read, we did read that in Sukha Gamudi. It can come from the holy name. It can come from Krishna directly. It can come from Srimad Bhagavatam. It can come from Bhagavad Gita. Special mercy can come down, in many different ways. Just by chanting rounds. Like one day you may be sitting there chanting your rounds, and you may be overcome with thoughts of the resonance of the spiritual world. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Everything's possible.
Yeah, I was thinking of that mercy, like how Krishna arranges, like another example, like I was cooking this Tuesday, and Gayatri wasn't able to come, and Deepika is not here. And then Anita came, and she got a phone call, her husband's ill, so she had to go. So I had nobody. I was on my own, and I was like panicked a little bit. Then some other Krishna just made all nice arrangements, trying to ring Sapita, said, okay, I will come. And then Gayatri and Daya, who came in later on as well. So I just feel whenever I try to endeavor, especially in cooking Rajbhog, I always say to them, Krishna just sends, devotees, or sends me help all the time, So that's kind of Krishna's mercy.
That's the Krishna. We was reading about that yesterday, wasn't it?
I can't believe. Then after doing chapatis, my back is so bad that they know I have to go and sit down. So I sit down 5 minutes, Gayatri or something. Then I can go and help again. And nothing, no pain, nothing. Because I had to do washing and everything. No problem. Everything was fine with my body. So it's Krishna. That's the mercy. That's the kind of mercy,
Yeah, what's that? That verse we often Anantas chintayanto mam ye jana payapasate te sam nityabhayuktamam yogikshemi bahamayaham. For those who meditate upon me, or those who meditate upon me with exclusive devotion, meditate upon transcendental form, for them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. Oh. All right. Should we read a little bit more?
Yeah. Do we want to read? We can.
I'll have a go at reading. Text, what do we leave off on?
79 now.
79. Okay. Okay, now please hear some relevant statements of great stages. Statements that will fully satisfy your mind. Commentary. Parikshit has answered his mother's inquiries by narrating two histories. One about Narada and the other about Gopukama. Remember the story of Narada meeting all the different devotees going up. And the other about Gopakumar. Earlier in the second half of Brhad Bhagavatamrta, he told his mother, quote, I could satisfy your request by explaining to you the statements of the Shrutis and Smritis, both in their literal meaning and in their implications. To conclude, he will now cite supporting opinions of reputable authorities about the glories of Goloka. Okay, so he's going to finish now glorifying Goloka of different authorities. So text 80. Above heaven is Brahmaloka, which is served by many Brahma rishis. It is the goal of Lord Shiva and his wife Uma, and of great luminous souls who are liberated in the Supreme. Commentary. Text 80 through 85, cited from Sri Harivamsa 32 to 35, are part of the prayers offered to Krishna by Lord Indra after Krishna lifted Govardhan hill. Here, the term Swaga is used in the same sense as in the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.5.42. Lokaha kalpitaha padyam. Oh, sorry, we don't normally read, but anyway. Bhuva loka shanatibi na nabitaha shaloka kalpito mudna itiva loka kalpana. Others may divide the whole planetary system into three divisions, namely the lower planetary systems on the legs of the Supreme Person, the middle planetary systems on the navel, and the upper planetary systems, Swaloka, from the chest to the head. What was that? What? Yeah, 2.5.42. We're reading something like that in the mornings, the universal form of the Lord. The first steps in God realization, yeah. In other words, Swaga can be taken to mean the 5 upper planetary systems from Indra's world up to Brahma's. Above those planets is found the end of the material universe, and above that is Brahmaloka, Vaikuntha, the transcendental realm. Okay, so this is not where Lord Brahma resides. It's called Brahmaloka. Vaikuntha is also called Brahmaloka because it is in the abode of Brahma, not Lord Brahma, but pure spirit. And because it is the world presided over by the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Brahman, Sri Krishna. Of course, beyond the 5 higher lokas or worlds mentioned here are the 7 coverings of the universe. Beyond them is the abode of liberation, Mukti Pada. Then comes Sri Shiva Loka, and then the spiritual world. So Shiva, and then above that we have Vaikuntha. The verse quoted above, however, mentions only Swaga Loka and Vaikuntha, because the universal coverings are not normally understood to be worlds, and because Swaga is well known as the heavenly destination of pious workers. To give some idea of the greatness of Vaikuntha, therefore, a description that conceives of the spiritual world as simply lying beyond Swaga is sufficient. Rather than refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead merely as Brahman, it is more correct to refer to him as Para Brahman, the Supreme Brahman. So Para means, up means topmost. Krishna is called Param Brahma Narakriti, the Supreme Absolute Truth appearing in human form. Supreme Absolute Truth appearing in human form. Thus in Bhagavad Gita 10.12, Arjuna says to Krishna, Param Brahma Param Dhamma Bhagavatam Paramam Bhavam. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. Unquote. Atma and Brahman, therefore, may also be accepted as secondary names of Krishna, because they identify his expansions, namely the Supersoul and the impersonal Supreme. Yeah, this Krishna has primary names and secondary names. This is mentioned in the Harinam Chintamani. Yeah. So one may chant the secondary names of the Lord, but that's not going to bring them or give them perception of Goloka. It's only by chanting the primary names of the Lord, Krishna, Govinda, Gopijana Vallabha, Govindaya, that one will get perception of Goloka. Therefore, in the last verse of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita 10:20, Krishna begins to describe his opulent material expansions, vibhutis, by saying, Aham Atma Godakesha Sarvabhutasya Stitataha. I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. The Brihad Sahasranam Stotra, when referring to the Supreme Person's vibhutis, is in its list of secondary names, also calls him Atma, Atma Tattvat Hipa, Atma Tattvat Tipa. He is the Supreme Soul and the ruler of the elements of creation. The words of saintly Vaishnavas also identify impersonal Brahman as one of the Lord's Supreme Lord's vibhutis, Parat Param Rama Chati Vibhutayaha. These including the Supreme Brahman, which is beyond everything else, are your opulent expansions. Therefore, since the Brihad Sahasranam Stotra includes among its 1,000 names of the personality of Godhead, the names of his vibhutis, these are factually his names, and Sri Krishna can properly be called Brahman. Consequently, Sri Sukadev has said, Muttadbi Satyalokastu Brahmaloka Sanatanaha. Satyaloka, the topmost planetary system, is situated on the head of the universal form. Brahmaloka, okay, this is Vaikuntha, another word for Vaikuntha. Brahmaloka, however, is eternal. Srila Sridhar Swami paraphrases this idea in his commentary. The world of Brahman, known as Vaikuntha, is perpetual, eternal. It is not contained within the material creation. In other words, Brahmaloka means Vaikuntha. The verse from Sri Harivamsa cited here in the Brihad Bhagavatamrta by Maharaj Parikshit says that the Brahma Rishis, either those absorbed in Brahman or great devotees like Narada, dedicated to Pada Brahman, Krishna, Bhagavan, always serve Brahmaloka. That spiritual realm is aspired for by the most exalted persons, including Lord Shiva and his consort, as well as liberated sages who have realized oneness with the self-luminous Supreme. In truth, such candidates for entrance into Brahmaloka are not impersonalists, but great devotees of the personality of Godhead's lotus feet, like Sanaka Kumara and his brothers, who know from their direct experience the insignificance of impersonal liberation. Narada and other associates of Lord Narayana are also on this level of spiritual competence, but because they are considered eternal residents, not candidates for entrance into Vaikuntha. They are considered eternal residents, not candidates for entrance into Vaikuntha. The second sentence of this verse from Harivamsa does not mention them among persons who make Vaikuntha their goal. If the word Jyotisam in the last line of this verse were taken literally to mean the sun, moon, and stars, the statement being made would be weak. To say that the spiritual world is beyond the sun and moon is not to say much, since even Mahaloka lies beyond the solar and lunar orbits. The sun and moon cannot approach Satyaloka, or to speak of Vaikuntha. The word Jyotisam, therefore, is better understood to refer to the spiritually effulgent sages who worship the Supreme Person. Okay, a few details there. Sanat Goswami gave a few more details there on his own verse. So just remember, he's given a commentary upon his own composition. All right. Any questions about that? Okay. Now, I made a mistake yesterday in saying that I had another class at 7, so I finished early, but I was mistaken. It's today that I have the class, another reading at 7. So let's just, what's the time now? 55. I can't resist. Let's see how long this purple is. I better stop there. I'd be a bit passionate to try and read it fast, you know. All right, so the Sanatana Goswami is now going in a different, now he's going to again given a synopsis of the wonder of Goloka. And so for that, he's describing the other realms, and therefore by default how Goloka is the supreme place. So here he's describing, like as perhaps what's been described before to some detail, different realms in comparison to Goloka. Okay, so let's stop there. Thank you very much for joining us in this wonderful reading of Bhagavatamrta. And please look, we can start Tuesday. We could be on Bhagavad Gita. If you could be with us then, it'd be very wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhupada ki jai.
His Grace Murli Manohar Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Don't forget, mercy can come from anywhere at any time. Hare Krishna.